Superman movie is not going to be an origin story. He's already established, and there's other heroes within the universe. I love that, and I think that's what's going to make his Superman movie stand out. When it comes to even doing a DCU Batman, doing another Batman with already this one over here, we don't need another origin story, but you know, there could be references, there could be, yeah, whatever. But at the same time, it's like people are making a stink. I think people just want to make a stink about it because it's James Gunn. They don't like James Gunn. So somebody actually asked Mr. Jimmy Guns right here, James, why are you overlooking origin stories? Those make us connect with the characters well at emotional level. And your choices of so niche characters to headline their own movies, such like, you know, Sergeant Rock or Swamp Thing, makes it look like you're making the DCU for hardcore comic book readers and not for the general audience. James Gunn said it right here. I'm not telling Batman and Superman's origin stories again because everyone knows them. And don't put Swamp Thing in the corner. Let's see, is that what he said? And don't put Swamp Thing in the corner. That's a project in development we've actually announced, and he's an incredibly well-known character with not only some of the greatest comics of all time, but a successful film series and his own TV show, something that could be said of only a very small handful of DC characters. Origin stories, because I saw some people going like, well, wait a minute, this is for a new, you know, there's new people out there that need to be reacquainted with these characters. So why wouldn't you want to pose it? Shut up! Everybody knows the origin story of Superman and Batman. And if you don't, or if any of these kids that people are claiming don't know the origin story, guess what? All you have to do is go to your iPad that your parents give you. These kids can go to their iPads or their phones or something like that. We have technology at our fingertips that you could just literally just type into YouTube, Batman origin, Superman origin, and you will get a video, a detailed video from some creator out there that will give you the full-on origin story if you need it. But everybody kind of knows that, hey, Superman, yes, Krypton, it was blowing up. His parents put him in a spaceship, send him off, and he shows up on Earth, and then, of course, he gets his powers from the yellow sun. You can basically just, you know, you can get it down to that. Batman, all his parents get killed right in front of him, and then, of course, he vows that he's gonna, you know, have vengeance, and then whatever the fuck. I mean, it's just kind of funny when I was seeing people react to the fact that it's like, wait, you're upset that he's not going to do origin stories. Why waste another movie on an origin story with Batman and Superman when everybody knows that? I mean, I saw somebody actually said like, well, yeah, the MCU, but look at the MCU. If like they were establishing a universe, you needed origin stories. I'm like, yeah, but we didn't get Spider-Man's origin story. It's a popular character. We already know Spider-Man's origin story. So when Spider-Man was introduced into the MCU, they referenced it. That's it. He was already established. That's it. You know, we didn't know Natasha's origin story right away. We got her origin story more when she got her solo film, which was after she died. I thought that wasn't going to be an issue, but it ended up being an issue because I thought Black Widow movie fucking sucked. I did not like the Black Widow movie. I thought it was totally just, yeah, they did. That one had potential, and I'm not saying it's all bad, but it just, yeah, totally bad. But the Batman came out in 2022. We didn't get an origin story again with there. We barely got any reference of the fact that it's like, oh yeah, his parents got off or anything when it came to that. It was initially just the story of Batman. Like, we don't need that. We definitely don't need that. When it comes to the Swamp Thing though, Swamp Thing, like in his little spiel right here about Swamp Thing and saying that, it's an incredibly well-known character with not only some of the greatest comics of all time, but a successful film series and his own TV show. Jimmy Guns, sure. I see what you're saying here. And somebody like me who watched those films and watched the TV show as well as the animated series. There was an animated series, and I remember collecting the figurines for the animated series that came out in the early 90s. We're talking about 30 plus years ago. That's the thing. Swamp Thing not exactly the same thing. I don't think there's going to be people in 2024 that are really going to know Swamp Thing. That they've heard of him, they've seen what he is, cool, and maybe they saw the James Wan produced series that came out, which was really good. They got canceled before it got launched, which was fucking stupid. But again, Warner Brothers and DC was in a stupid spot back then. It's like, I don't think people are going to know a lot about this character. So, I mean, I think I'm not saying that there needs to be a full-on origin story when it comes to, well, what James Mangold apparently is going to be doing. But, I just wouldn't say put that in the same category as like, oh yeah, he's well known. I think people know the name and they know what he looks like, but they don't really know the character. So we're still going to need a little bit, something, a little foundation right there. Batman and Superman, I'm totally glad. I'm 100% glad that the Superman movie is not going to be an origin story. He's already established, and there's other heroes within the universe. I love that, and I think that's what's going to make his Superman movie stand out, is that. But, when it comes to even doing a DCU Batman, doing another Batman with already this one over here, we don't need another origin story. But, there could be references, there could be whatever. But at the same time, it's like, when people are making a stink, I think people just want to make a stink about it because it's James Gunn. They don't like James Gunn. But yeah, we don't need a Superman origin. We don't need a Batman origin. We just want stories, new stories, reference it while telling a different story. So yeah, there was just that whole thing I just wanted to kind of talk about. Anyways.